Well, as promised, let me show you my grow light setup. I've got two tubs. These are fiberglass tubs. You could use a tote, cut it off a little shorter so the light would, get closer to the plants. You've got one of those big tall tubs, the light's not going to be close enough. But anyway, this tub's about, 9 inches tall, something like that. The reason I'm using the tub, I like to water from underneath. You can see a little standing water in there, and no, it's not dirty. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. These are plants that I planted, I think, on February, toward the end of February. So they're about 2 weeks, have about probably 3 weeks growth on them. And the cucumbers, these big plants are Burpless cucumbers. They need to come out of there. They're shading some of the rest of these plants, and I need to take them out. We'll do that when I finish this video, and put them in some probably some 4-inch pots. And I think I can put some 4-inch pots back here. I think this is the Haas seed starting tray. These are 6-packs because I'm going to give these away. My brother-in-law. All of these are 6-packs. I didn't use the Haas seed tray on this simply because most all these are going to be given away. So because most of them are hot peppers, and I can't do a lot of hot peppers. So anyway, but here's my grow light setup. These are LED lights. The color rating or whatever you call it on the light is called daylight. It's a different, a little bit different shade than my normal lights that I have up there. I think they're maybe a soft white or something, and these are called daylight. And when I picked them up by mistake, but I'm glad I did now. Again, about 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks on these. I'll give you a little tip about succession, how to plant in just a minute, because I think that's important, so you won't have this huge growth of a certain kind. You need to plant them in a certain order, I think. These I just planted about 3 days ago, already getting some germination on those. Those are called, those are flowers actually, called coxcomb. Daughter went to Mount Vernon this summer and brought me back a bunch of seeds, and those are some of the seeds she brought, along with bird pepper and fish pepper. All of them that say GW down at the bottom are George Washington. Beaver dam pepper, fish pepper, bird pepper, and then some more flowers. Blackberry lily. I've got some brown-eyed Susans, and not too many. I don't do a lot of flower planting. So anyway, most of these are veggies. Most of these will be given away. The flowers will stay here probably, but most of the peppers will be given away. So again, LED, daylight, suspend them as close as you can to the plant. I'm beginning to raise this one up. I've got these suspended from the ceiling. I'm beginning to raise them up because they're starting to get tall, but you want your plants about an inch or 2 or 3 inches maybe from your light source. Now, some of you I'm sure are going to say that, I need a special kind of light that's got the right color spectrum and stuff in it, but I'm telling you, these looks like the daylight's working pretty good for me. I'm not an expert on this, but I'm just telling you, those tomato plants look good. Okay, they're about 5 inches tall, almost ready to go in some 4-inch pots or some solo cups, whichever I decide to do. These are got to come out. They're shade and everything else. So this is ready to go. This is starting to, some of the flowers are starting to germinate. The peppers are going to be late, and that's what I want to talk to you about the succession of how to plant. Next year, what I will do, because the peppers take so long to germinate, and these are so quick to germinate, the things like watermelons, cucumbers, any curcubit, I believe it's called, and a lot of these over here are watermelon. I've got a Moon and Stars, yellow watermelon, a Charleston Gray. All those came from Haas, and I expect those to come up pretty doggone quick. So what I'm going to do, and what I would suggest to you to consider, is planting peppers first because they're going to take longer to germinate, in my experience. Plant peppers. About a week later, plant tomatoes, tomato seeds. About 2 weeks later, plant your cucurbits, your watermelon, your cucumbers, butternut squash, things of that nature, because they come up so quick and grow so fast. You don't want them shading out everything else. So just plant them in the order, reverse order of what they're going to come up. The cucumbers are going to come up first, so plant them last. Peppers, a week later tomatoes, 2 weeks later cucumbers, watermelon, things like that. So that's what I will do next time. Did not do that this time. I planted them all at one time. I planted this one. Well, I planted those two all at one time. But anyway, planted them all at one time, and I'm seeing my mistake. Those need to come out bad. They've already filled up their little root. I mean, their little pocket, their 1 inch square there. So they need to come out. Now, why is the water muddy looking, dark looking? It's not dirt. I use something called Garrett Juice. Now, Garrett Juice is basically, it's a molasses-based product that probably has, I think, seaweed. If I had my glasses on, I'd tell you exactly what it had in it. Let me see here. Let me see if I can turn it around. Maybe you can read it. Ingredients. So we got compost tea, molasses, seaweed, apple cider vinegar. Very good stuff. You can spray it on your plants once they're up this size, once they're in the garden and grown, adult plants. You can spray, I think it's a tablespoon to a gallon, or 2 tablespoons. You'd have to read on there. But it really gives them a kick in the pants. And that's one reason I started these out without any Garrett Juice. And then I went ahead and mixed up a batch. And when I did, I put it in here too. So all these were started with a Garrett Juice mix. These were started with just water. But I've just added a Garrett Juice mix recently, in the last couple of 3 days. So anyway, that is the grow light setup. Get you some totes of some sort. Don't ask where I got these because I can't get any more. Well, actually, I can put a link on below. Amazon has something similar to these, but they're about $35, $40 a piece. So they're expensive, but I will put a link to them. If I remember it, I'll put a link to them below on Amazon. It's a fiberglass, heavy duty tub. And but if you use a tote, just that's the way I like to do, is water from underneath. Now, I do let them get dry. The water is going down in that right now. It's just barely got anything in it. It's just kind of wet in the bottom. And I'll let it kind of dry up. I don't want them just standing in water all the time. I do want it to dry out some. So, I'll let it, when I see the water is gone, I'll wait and kind of watch, and if they begin to right now they look wet. I mean, they look plenty watered, let's put it that way. And I will wait and wait till they don't look quite as wet, and maybe give them a day or two like that before I put more water in. But I do like to water from underneath. Now, these aren't under the heat pad anymore, and that's something else I want to show you is how I've got my heat pad set up. My seed starting heat pad. First of all, I got the lights on a timer. Timer's plugged in right there, a little socket right there. Got an extension cord running to 2 of the lights. As far as the heat pad, one of the reasons I started these seeds indoors, because I didn't think that heat pad would be strong enough to radiate through that thick fiberglass tub, and I was wrong. It does. I covered it with, and probably will again tonight if it gets cold tonight, cover it with towels and to hold some of the heat in. But it is doing a good job. Now, what I've done, this is all on a table, just a cheap little 6-foot table. And I've got, I wanted to insulate between the ambient air in the barn, which can be 30, 40 degrees, depends on what the nights are. So what I did was put a couple of layers of cardboard, a couple of layers of a mat that I got at Tractor Supply a long time ago, which is kind of an anti-fatigue mat that you stand on. You put in front of a workstation and stand on it so you don't get your feet fatigued from being on the concrete all day long. And then I've got the heat mat, and then I've got the tub here. So the tub, this one is standing in water, but as soon as they absorb all that water, I'll give them a day or two, let them dry out just a little bit, because by that time they should have, most of them should have germinated anyway. So I don't want them necessarily standing in water all the time, but I wanted the mix to get wet. I wanted the the seed starting mix to get wet. I wanted to make sure everything got wet, because you got to have moisture to germinate. So I want to make sure of that. Anyway, I've got a little bit of insulation here, or what I'm calling insulation, cardboard, rubber, and then the mat, and then the tub, and it is holding. That's 77.3. And the other day, yesterday I came in, it was 80.1. So it's just fluctuating around 78 to 80 degrees. I think I've got it set on 79. Anyway, that is the grow light setup. It looks good. The plants look good. Plants look healthy. I know you're going to tell me I should be using a different kind of light, but I'm telling you, it dang sure works for me. These leaves on these are starting to curl a little bit. I don't think it's because they're getting too much light. I don't think it's because they're too close to the light. I think it's just because that gum, they need to come out of there. And I will do that as soon as I turn this camera off and separate them out. But for right now, we got pepperoncinis, poblanos, cayennes, Marconi red. If you're looking for a good sweet pepper, like a sweet banana pepper, but even better, Marconi. M-A-R-C-O-N-I. Those are real good. I'll put a link to some seeds on Amazon below. Marconi, giant Marconi red, I believe they're called. Cubanelle, Gold Rush bananas. Those came from Haas. All these tomatoes came from Haas. The Sun Gold, Brickyard, Mountain Glory, Margie's Lifter, and Bella Rosa. And then most of the peppers came from Haas, but a lot of them I just bought in, I think, Walmart one day when I was looking at their seed catalog. Again, the hot peppers probably going, all of them going to my brother-in-law's and neighbor. And but the sweet peppers I do like. The Marconis, the sweet banana peppers, I'm going to tear them up. I like those. And I'll keep some of the cayennes, few poblanos, pepperoncinis now. I do like the pepperoncinis. They don't get that hot. So most of those are mine too. Most of those will be for me to keep, let's put it that way. All right, won't be long. I'll have to do something with these. They'll have to go outside because they're getting a little big for the seed tray here. They all got to go outside pretty quick. Not these, but these. All right. Anyway, that's a look at it. Grow you some seeds. Succession plant them to where they will come up about the same time. You want your peppers to start popping up about the same time your cucumbers do. But there's about a 3-week difference, 2 or 3 week difference before that pepper is going to come up. Before they start coming up well. I've still got a few that just now coming up, and it's been 3 weeks. So that would be the plan. It would be to plant them in succession. That's what I will do next time, because I have learned my lesson this time. So anyway, that's it. Talked too long probably, but hopefully it's interesting for you, and hopefully you can mimic this and grow you some good seeds. I've already got some. Like I say, these were about 3 days ago, and I've already got some coming up there. Those are that, it's called a coxcomb. It's supposed to be a real tall, real pretty flower. It looks like a rooster comb, I guess. Anyway, that's it. That's it. Maybe a little shaky because I didn't have my doodad with me for stability. But grow you some plants. If you have to grow them in the barn, grow them in the barn till you can put them outside. I believe we've said enough. And we're going.